On Osiris, the Tau Pathfinders are on the brink of destruction. As quickly as they arrived, they were defeated at the hands of the Imperium. With the sunken city behind them, they now find themselves lost on an unfamiliar world and look for a way to make contact with their ship. The Greenskin Commandos firmly control the area. The two sides will meet in episode 16 as MGM presents the Osiris conflict.
Alright, welcome back to MGM, a great place for casual gaming. Today we have a battle between the Tau Pathfinders and the Ork Kommandos. The campaign table shows the potential for the Kommandos to get a share of the lead, while the Tau will look to get their first win. The Tau come to battle with a S1E Pathfinder. He has a high-intensity marker light, two weapons experts with target analysis. One carries a rail rifle and the other an ion rifle. They have an assault grenadier with high-intensity marker light, a drone controller, a marksman, a medical technician, a blooded with high-intensity marker light, and a handful of drones accompanying them to battle. The Kommandos bring a Nob with a power claw, a burner boy with smoke grenade, a comms boy, a Daka boy with climbing rope, a rocket boy, slasher boy with smoke grenade, sniper boy, breacher boy, and a normal boy with a stick bomb. They also have a grot and a bomb squig. Today's match is Secure Archaeotech. Objectives have been placed across the kill zone, and operatives can perform a mission action to disengage tech if within 1 inch of an objective. Each time a friendly operative performs that action, they will score 1 VP. The pickup action can be performed on a disengaged marker. While an operative is carrying it, they can't perform dash actions. At the end of battle, for each disengaged marker friendly operatives control, they will score 2 VPs. For secondaries, the Pathfinders get Triangulate, Vantage, and Mark Target. The Kommandos get Rout, Robin Ransack, and Deadly Marksman. As always, thank you so much for watching. Turn 1 is coming up next. Alright, as we gear up for turn 1, the Kommandos have deployed, majority with conceal orders. They do play the strategic ploy, allowing them to get a free dash, and the Tau lining up as well. While not using any ploys, they will play the Art of War Monk Ka. If you've watched our previous battle reports, just know that we are not experts at the game. I'm not a professional gamer, I just enjoy playing the games and bringing them to life. In the scouting step for both sides, they selected Infiltrate, which will allow them to flip an order, and the Kommandos will be up for turn 1. And out of the gates for the Kommandos, the boy is going to activate. He is going to move forward, staying concealed. He is going to disengage tech on objective 5, and this will score the Kommandos a victory point. The Tau use Infiltrate. They flip this guy to a conceal order. He moves forward, and then he is going to triangulate this board edge. Triangulate is to attempt to score a secondary if you triangulate multiple board edges that are not your own deployment zone. We've then got the Daka boy. He is going to get his free dash moving forward for his strategic ploy. He has a climbing rope, so easily gets to the top and allows him to move forward. And with his second APL, he is going to fire. The Daka boy has positioned himself to where he can see the weapons expert with the ion rifle in the open with an engage order. 5 dice fire out, needing 4s, and he gets a good result here. So 3 defense come out, looking for 5s as well in order to save, and a terrific roll. He only takes 3 wounds. The medic then quickly moves over to D3, heals him back to full strength. So the Tau avoiding a disastrous start here. The comms boy then activates for the Kommandos. He is going to give an APL to the sniper boy. The comms boy is then going to move forward, staying with a conceal order behind heavy cover. The Pathfinders now change their plans and they activate the marker drone, and the drone is going to stay concealed. Move over to provide some support to these guys, and he is going to beam a high-intensity marker light up at the Daka boy. Back to the Kommandos, the Nob with a power claw is going to give an APL to the burner boy. He is going to stay concealed, moving forward behind cover. The Pathfinders activate the S1E. He gets that free dash forward for Monk Ka. He moves to the top, and we messed this up here as the movement should just move him to the top. Instead, we did allow him to carry forward 2 more inches when that should not happen. He beams a high-intensity marker light down on the Daka boy for his second APL. Up next, the sniper gets a free dash forward for the strategic ploy. He has a climbing rope, so he gets into position, and he has an extra action point for this activation from the comms boy. He is going to fire down at the marksman. For 2 APL, he fires from concealment with the best spot, 6 shots from his shooter hitting on 3s. With 1 save retained for cover, it is not going to be enough, and the marksman will be removed from the board. The blooded Pathfinder then activates. He gets a free dash for Monka. He is going to triangulate right here, giving the Pathfinders a victory point. He is then going to beam down a high-intensity marker light onto the Breacha. The Slasher Boy activates next. He gets the free dash for the ploy that was played. He then lobs a smoke grenade and quickly moves himself into it, getting concealment. The Pathfinders then activate the weapons expert with an ion rifle. He does treat the Daka boy, which he is targeting, as if he has 5 marker lights on him, so getting the full benefit here, and he unloads with his ion rifle. 5 dice hitting on 4s with a reroll, no cover, and it kicks off AP1. The Daka boy is quickly taken down. The weapons expert then uses his second action to move forward. Over for the Commandos, the Burna is going to get a free dash for the ploy. He is then going to lob a smoke grenade himself. He does have an extra action point here. He is going to move into the smoke. With his extra action, he is going to disengage tech on Objective 4, which will score the Commandos a victory point. Over for the Pathfinders, they do activate the weapons expert with a rail rifle. He gets that free dash forward for Monka, climbs to the top, and we do illegally move him forward here, I believe. With his engage order, he is going to target the boy with a conceal order, but treating him as if he hasn't engaged because he's on a vantage point. With 4 shots on 4s and AP1, he does retain 1 for cover, and he makes a save, but it's not going to be enough to save him, as mortal wounds do kick off, and the boy is taken out of the game. With the Tau striking decisively, the Rocket Boy decides to use Infiltrate here. He flips from a Conceal to an Engage order. He is then going to get his free dash. He moves, and he is now going to fire the rocket. Targeting the weapons expert, 5 shots on 4s. He connects on several of these. AP1 kicks off. The Pathfinder retains 1 for cover and makes his save. He ends up taking 4 wounds, and the Shazui gets splash damage. Next, the Pathfinders activate the drone controller. He is going to move, trying to get out of line of sight from the sniper on a vantage point, and he gets behind heavy cover. He is then going to control a drone, and he takes control of the gun drone. The gun drone gets a free dash for Montka. It is then going to scoot to Objective 6. The drone disengages tech and scores the Pathfinders a victory point. Meanwhile, the Breacher Boy with 2 marker lights, he is going to move forward, staying concealed. The Pathfinders then activate their recon drone. He is going to fly to the top of the fortification here. Unfortunately, because his weapon is heavy, he is unable to fire. He will pass on his second activation. The Bomb Squig then moves forward, getting into cover, but he is not going to get out of the way from Overwatch coming from the recon drone. The drone unloads with 6 shots on 4s. It does get rerolls, and several hits are going to go through. It is going to take the Squig out of action. The Grot activates next, uses his grappling hook to fly over the terrain here. He is then going to dash back into cover. Turn 1 comes to a close. The Pathfinders do score 1 on the primary, and they also score 1 for Triangulate. The Commandos will score 2 on the primary. As operatives ready up for turn 2, we are going to go ahead and roll for initiative. and it is going over to the Kommandos. Turn 2 coming up. The Kommandos play Daka 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 and Skulk About, while the Pathfinders play Take Cover. The Slasher Boy disengages objective number 2 and charges into the Pathfinder. The Kommandos can charge from concealment, which makes them extremely deadly, and he hits on 3s. The Assault Pathfinder unable to hit him back and is taken out of action. The drone controller activates next, moves to the top of the ruins. He then takes control of the gun drone. That gun drone can then pick up objective 6 and move, trying to get out of line of sight. Over for the Kommandos, the Breacher continues to move up the left flank. He will then disengage on marker number 1, scoring another point on the primary for the Kommandos. That's 2 this turn. The weapons expert with the ion rifle has to push forward just a little bit with one of his actions. He then fires the ion rifle at the approaching flamer. He uses a command point reroll, and the Commando has 4 5s to deal with. He will retain 1 for cover and then play just a scratch to only take 8 damage. He's got 2 wounds remaining. The Burner Boy is going to activate Pick Up Objective 4, and he can only move 4 inches due to being injured. He is going to try to pull that objective back to their deployment. The Pathfinders then activate the marker drone, who moves forward looking to take any shots coming at the weapons expert. He is going to beam down a high intensity marker light at the rocket launcher. The Rocket Boy is going to react, knowing he's got 2 marker lights on him. He is going to fire his rocket, again targeting the weapons expert across the way. 5 shots needing 4s at AP1. He gets a ton of hits. Take Cover is not going to help him here, as there's just too much fire to contend with. He is overwhelmed, and the rocket splashes onto the S1E and the drone controller. The Rocket Boy is then going to move, trying to get out of line of sight. The Medtech goes next, switches to an engage order, and fires his pulse carbine at the approaching Slasher Boy, hitting on 4s and using a command reroll to try to pour it on here. Even with Skulk About, the saves are not going to be good enough to keep the Slasher Boy up, and he is taken out of action. The medic then uses that second APL to move, trying to stay back in cover. Up next, the Grot is going to pick up Objective 5 and make a move back towards their deployment zone. We've then got the Blooded, who is going to use an action to move. He is then going to target the approaching Breacher Boy. The shots were not as good as the medic. He does have 1 marker light on him, so granting a reroll, but still unsuccessful. Only 2 hits to contend with, 1 being held back for Skulk About, and they're both blocked. The Kommandos then activate the Comms Boy, who moves up to Objective 2. He is going to disengage tech, scoring 1 on the primary. We've then got the Recon drone that is firing down at the Breacher Boy, 6 shots, hitting on 4s. The drone gets to reroll all of the dice, and just too much firepower for the Breacher Boy to contend with. With withholding 1 for Skulk About, he is still taken out of action. Back to the Kommandos, the Knob is activated. He is going to move up to Objective 3 and disengage tech, scoring 1 on the primary. That is 3 on the primary for the Kommandos this turn as they push up the board. The S1E activates, beams the Knob with a high-intensity marker light. He is then going to mark the target, foregoing his shooting but scoring the Pathfinders a victory point. Things then swing over to the Sniper, who is going to move into a firing position down at the medic. 6 shots from the big shooter, hitting on 3s. He retains 1 for cover and saves on 4s due to the take cover ploy. He goes down to 1 wound. A CP reroll was used to keep him alive. That was successful, and as the turn concludes, the Kommandos score 3 on the primary. The Kommandos also score all 3 of their secondaries, as the Deadly Marksman was revealed on the Rocket Boy into the Weapons Expert. They also got Rout and Robin Ransack. The Tau were able to mark target for 1, and we've got turn 3 coming up. It's going back to the Kommandos. With no ploys played, the Knob is going to pick up the objective and move. The S1E activates next, and he is going to move up the board, trying to get into a firing position, and he is going to identify the burner boy across the board and unleash shots. His pulse carbine is 4 dice, hitting on 3s. He sinks 3 hits into the burner, and he is unable to save them all. The burner will be taken out of action this turn. That frees up that objective. And with that taking place, the comms boy activates next for the commandos. He picks up objective 2 and then moves back behind heavy cover. The Pathfinder medic then uses this opportunity to move and dash, trying to get out of line of sight from the sniper. The Grot activates, uses his grappling hook to shoot across the board onto objective 4. He then uses a dash to tuck out of line of sight. Back to the Pathfinders, the drone controller is going to use 2 APL to use Vantage. This will score them a victory point. The sniper then moves forward with an engage order, and he is going to attempt to shoot the S1E across the board. With 6 shots hitting on 3s, 4 of them are going to connect. 2 mortal wounds will tick off the S1E, and while he does save the critical, he is unable to save the rest, and he is taken off the board. Next, the weapons expert with the ion rifle is going to climb to the top here and unleash fire. He hits on 4s. He does use a command point to re-roll one of these, getting 3 successes. He actually retains 1 for cover here, and AP1 he ends up failing, and he goes down to 1 wound. In the Ork backfield, the Rocket Boy is going to switch up to a conceal order. He just moves on to objective 5 to occupy that. The gun drone activates next and fires up at the sniper boy. He does get rerolls for Relentless, and while he does get a few hits, 1 is retained for cover, and the sniper boy rolls up a critical and a normal save to block out the rest. With the drone's second action, he is going to move. He is still carrying that objective for when he was operated by the drone controller. He's just simply going to move out of line of sight, looking to score at the end of the game. In Overwatch, the sniper boy fires, but he is injured, so he needs 5s. He doesn't really get anything on these rolls. The shot will be blocked. We move over to the recon drone, where it is going to move and dash, looking to bring guns to bear on the next turn. With no eligible Overwatch, the marker drone is going to move. It beams a high-intensity marker light up at the sniper boy. The Blooded then activates, moves forward with his conceal order, which he can fire from. He takes shots looking for 3s, and he does get a reroll for the marker light. There is no cover. With defense dice rolled, it is not going to be enough to keep the sniper boy up, and he will be taken out of action. So finally, after 4 activations, they're able to bring the sniper boy down and free up this side of the board. Could be too little too late though for the Tau as we wind down turn 3. The Tau are going to score a victory point for Vantage, while the Commandos will score a victory point for Rout. We go into the 4th and final turning point. The Orcs will be up again for turn 4. The Rocket Boy is going to activate. He switches to an engage order. He's going to move, carrying the objective. He is then going to fire his rocket up at the recon drone. He lands 2 hits. It should be AP1, but we did roll out 3 dice for the recon drone, and all of them were saved. With this game pretty much in the bag, the weapons expert is going to use Vantage for 2 AP, scoring a victory point for the Pathfinders. The Knob is just going to skulk back with the objective. The Blooded Pathfinder is going to get onto an objective for the Tau, which can score them 2 victory points at the end of the game. The Grot is going to pull his objective back, getting out of line of sight. The drone controller switches up to an engage order, and between him and their recon drone, they are able to successfully take down the Rocket Boy. And with that, our game concludes, and the Commandos were sitting on 3 objectives at the end of the game, scoring 6 victory points. The Pathfinders were sitting on 2 objectives at the end of the game, scoring them 4 victory points, and they also scored 1 for Vantage. That brings our final score in favor of the Commandos at 15-9. Turn 2, the Commandos really got away with scoring on the primary objectives, getting 3 of those points, and once that tech has been disengaged, you can't get those points back. So a hard-fought game there by both sides. The Kommandos will improve to 4-1 on the season, while the Tau Pathfinders fall to 0-4 as they really just struggle to find their rhythm and find ways to close out games. In this particular game, they did win the war of attrition, but unfortunately that was not what this scenario was about. But hey, really hope you enjoyed the battle report. Here at MGM, we're all about well-painted minis and telling a story, so really hope that you enjoyed that. A big thank you to the Supporters Club. Your names are on the screen now. It is by no means necessary. If you watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support the channel, so thank you so much. We will see you in the next one. Take care.